Oh man, do I look ugly. Where's my fucking hoodie? There. I'm well characterized. Oops. Gotta keep the camera on frame. There we go. What's up guys, my name is Andre and welcome to a new video. It's been a while since I've made a real video about talking about computers and shit. And I still have to do my Voodoo 3 video. The problem is I have to get another power supply to use on my test bench. Okay, so the main thing that I want to show you guys today is the storage computer that I built, because I had some 250 odd gigabytes of downloads and torrents, and it was just taking up a whole bunch of space in my hard drive, so I just deleted a bunch of it, and the other bunch I just grabbed all the old IDE hard drives that I had laying around that were not being used for anything, because I got these hard drives to use on like retro rigs and stuff, but I really wasn't using them, so I just decided to use them to actually store something. So the problem is, my modern motherboard, my main computer, doesn't have any IDE inputs. It's an LGA 1366 motherboard, no IDE, nothing. So what I had to do is that I had to scatter all of my data on 4 IDE hard drives. 2 160, 180, and 140. Let me see just how much that adds up, if I can. Okay, so we got 320 because we have two 160 hard drives plus one of 80 plus one of 40. So we got around 440 gigabytes of storage in my main computer, all made up of IDE hard drives. It sounds nuts, and it is kind of nuts, but it's what I had to do. So let's get into it. So the computer that I built to store all my downloads and torrents is a computer that I was really aimed at making a computer that, one, is not going to generate a whole lot of heat apart from the hard drives, because they're mechanical drives, and it's not going to use a whole lot of power. So I went with apart from the power usage of the hard drives, I went with as little components as I could, really to save on power, because sometimes I'm going to have this computer running for a couple of hours or days, and I really don't want to blow the power bill or something. So the computer is using 2 gigabytes of DDR400 RAM, is using a Celeron 420, and it's using 5 hard drives, 4 of which are IDE hard drives, and they're being used to store all my data, and 1 hard drive is being used to store Windows, just to have an operating system hard drive. So some interesting facts on the processor that I chose, which is the Celeron 420. It is by far the slowest CPU on the core architecture ever. It is running at 1.6 gigahertz. It has 512 kilobytes of level 2 cache, and it has 1 core. This CPU, my friend, is actually quite the marvel of the core architecture. This CPU, which outputs a mere 35 watts under full load, is capable of beating any Pentium 4 ever. Running at 1.6 gigahertz, 512 kilobytes of cache, and outputting 35 watts of heat, it is able to beat any Pentium 4. And it was even able to beat some of the Pentium Ds on a single core. It is a single core CPU that beats 2 core CPUs. It's absolutely insane. So, I mean, just for file transferring, it's enough for file transfer. So, in order to do file transfer quickly, first I got a 10 gigabit switch, and also I bought, I didn't buy it, I just kind of got it from a friend of mine, which is a TP-Link TP3269. It is a 1 gigabit PCI network card. So these hard drives are never going to reach 125 megabytes of read speed. So really the gigabit card is kind of overkill for these hard drives. Unless I was running a RAID array, which I'm not. I could do that under Windows, but there's no point because each hard drive has its own label. So, for example, I got movies A, movies B. I've got downloads A, downloads B. So it's all separated in its own hard drive. So there's no point in like doing a RAID array, and if one of the hard drive fails, I lose everything. So this way, if one of the hard drives fail, I kind of lose half. But I was cautious enough only to choose the hard drives with the best smart status. And moreover, as downloads, I can download most of the stuff back again. These hard drives can fail. I'll have to download these stuff again, no problems. And the best hard drive that I got in here is an 80 gigabyte SATA hard drive from Western Digital, clean smart status, and it's the hard drive that I'm using to store my personal data. So anyway, let's go ahead and actually show the computer in action. Alright people, this is the machine. First of all, I do apologize about the mess. It looks like a mess, and it is a mess, but it works. And as you can see, I'm running Windows 7, and I'm using a CRT because I pretty much sold all of the other monitors that I have. I sold 2 LCD monitors in order to assemble the machine, which is right behind this mirror, which I use as a sort of monitor. Let me just put this mirror back in its place before it breaks. Alright, so this is my main machine currently. It's soon to be replaced by a Socket 2011 machine in like less than a month. So right now, originally I was planning to use a Xeon X5670, but as I was an idiot and I bought the wrong motherboard, this motherboard does not support 32nm chips. This is the main problem. So I'm using an i7-920, overclocked to 3.4. I was previously running it at 3.8, but it was just not perfectly stable, so I just quit using it. So this is the storage machine that I built. It's using the Celeron 420, and it's using 4 IDE hard drives, and this is because the motherboard has 2 IDE channels. It's the best part of this. And then we have one SATA hard drive. That's a 120 gigabyte hard drive just to have Windows, because all of these hard drives have some kind of data from this computer, which I took off of this computer. So if I just go ahead and open it up, so as you can see, my Windows is in Portuguese. I was previously running it in English, but as I only had Windows 7 in Portuguese, I just went with what I had instead of downloading Windows 7 again. Anyway, it's running 24 gigabytes of RAM, and my next machine is going to be running 32 gigs. Okay, the video was mainly about this machine, so let's go ahead and show this machine. So there you go, Celeron. Oh, it's Celeron 450. Oh, pardon me. So I actually went with the faster Celeron that I have in here. I had 2 Celerons, I guess. Yeah, 2 Celerons. I had the 420, the 430, and the 450. So these are 1.6, 1.8, and 2.2 respectively. So this is the fastest Celeron, single core Celeron that we have. It's a 35. It's still a 35 watt chip, and it runs like a champ. I mean, it doesn't really heat up a whole lot. It doesn't even heat up. It's not even warm at all. The heatsink is pure cold right now. And there you can already see the TP-Link 3269 card that I've installed. All that connects to a Tenda 1 gigabit switch, and that goes to my TP-Link router up there, and it just goes down to the computer. That router is 150 megabits a second. The thing is, I'll have to connect another cable over here and connect to the second Ethernet port on my computer, so that I can take the full advantage of the 1 gigabit card that I have up there, because that bus is limited to 150 megabits per second. Anyway, so this is what the storage looks like. As you can see, I'm sorry about the scan lines in there, but Jesus, what refresh rate is this running at? I'm gonna try to adjust the shutter speed of the camera right now. Okay, this should do it. So as you can see, this is what the storage in this computer looks like. So I got downloads A and downloads B. These are both filled. Download speed is 160. Downloads A is 40 gig. Download movies A is 160. Movies B is 80. So it's not like evenly scattered around, but it's what I could do. So these are all IDE hard drives, and what I'm going to do actually is that I'm going to go ahead and try copying a very big file off of here, off of the computer. So as you can see, they're still showing up on LAN. What I have to do is that I have to get another Ethernet cable and plug my computer to the 1 gigabit switch, so that we can get full advantage of the 1 gigabit card. Ah, screw it, I'll just plug this in here. Boop. There we go. Okay, now that we got the 1 gigabit link, we're going to try copying a movie off of this computer to my main PC and see what the throughput is like. So I'm going to go movies because I got some big files in here. I'm gonna go ahead and try to copy like a 3 gigabyte file. So this is a 3 gigabyte file. Copy. Paste. Let's see what the speed is like. Beware that we are going to be limited by the we're going to be limited by the hard drive speed, but this is beyond shitty. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but overall, I mean, I've seen better speeds than this. It's probably something else. Okay, heads up. I guess that the computer was still routing the data through the 150 megabit modem. So I mean, I don't know why, but it was going like this. The data was coming off of this computer, going through the switch, going to that modem, going back into the switch, and then through the blue cable to my computer. Now, as you can see, the speed is dropping. But you could clearly see the speed that we were reaching over there. And it's still copying even though we have no internet, because the switch emulates a private LAN. That's the magic of the switch. And really, that's it. It is fast when it wants to, and it's slow, like really slow when it wants to. Anyway, this is my storage computer. It works best when I'm not recording, unfortunately. But there we go, that's my storage computer. Now I really still want to talk about my computer, which I'm going to upgrade. I mean, I know that I have been using this computer for like a month probably, and I'm really going to upgrade it again. So this right now was kind of like a failed project. I mean, apart from the graphics card, I mean everything in here was a complete fail. First of all, you see this one power supply? Well, think again. I'm using 3 power supplies to power the system. There are 2 hard drives hidden behind there. 3 power supplies. So, here's the deal. 1 goes to the motherboard. 2 power supplies are going to the CPU, if I can aim down there. So we have 2 power supplies going to the CPU right over there. Yep, 2 power supplies going to the CPU. And then I got 1 power supply going exclusively to the graphics card. I mean, it's nuts. Some people would say I'm actually risking a fire hazard, and I believe that I actually am. But it works for now, and I have already talked to Levi, and I'm getting from him a Corsair RM850. It's going to be the power supply that I'm going to be using on my computer. I'm changing the motherboard to a socket 2011. 2011 V1, the first generation 2011. The CPU that I'm going for is an Intel 3930K, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and in the future I'm actually going to get another GTX 970 in order to game and stuff. And that's pretty much it. That's going to be my computer. And originally I was going to change the motherboard and use the Xeon X5670, which by the way is stored over here, because I never got a chance to use it, unfortunately. So I have it to this day just stored in my little mini drawer right there. I never got a chance to use the CPU. And well, I don't know what's going to happen to this. So I'm going to have an i7 920 and a spare 1366 motherboard. Then I'm getting Levi's Asus P6T SE. I'm slapping the Xeon X5670 on it, and I don't know if I'm getting another RAM stick or not. So really, I was going to change the motherboard, use the X5670, and use it as my main computer. But then more money came, and I thought, well, instead of assembling a secondary computer, which I'm never going to use, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to focus all the money that I have in building another computer. I'm still getting Levi's motherboard because I promised that I would. And because he's so upset with me right now because I've been holding him on that motherboard for like 2 months already. So I'm getting that motherboard from him. And yeah, I'm changing my computer again, and I'm going to actually make a log about that. So pretty much. So as you can see, the speed has been dropping constantly. I don't know why. It just, I mean, this computer is really sentimental. It just works when it wants to. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys are following my other channels. They're going to be in the description of this video. I have a gaming channel, and I also have a music channel because I am a piano composer. That's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe, leave a like in this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya. LOL. Just as I was talking about him. Oh, Lord. That's one hell of a timing.